Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're super lucky because today I have the brand new Wilson blade thanks to Rackets.ie. So check out Rackets.ie if you're based in Ireland. They're the best tennis brand and store out there. We're really excited to try this out. I've heard great things about all the blades, but I'm also getting early access today, so I can't wait to test it out. As always, any thoughts, comments, let me know. If you have any questions or you're gonna buy it, let me know, and let's get into the review. Alright guys, let's start with a cosmetic overview because I know you guys want to see this racket up close. I have to say it looks great. I love the color. I love that little dash of that orangey red line at the bottom there of the frame and the texture inside the throat as well. So kudos to Wilson. But as always with all my reviews, we're going to start with some initial thoughts. So when I first picked up this racket, easy to swing and felt very, very stable. More stable than I expected, to be honest with you. But if you catch the sweet spot, this racket will do a lot of the work for you, but it's not necessarily the biggest sweet spot or the most forgiving racket. I'm using the 98 square inch 16 by 19 here as well for reference. But in this video, I'm going to tell you how it felt on forehands, backhands, volleys. My technical gear expert, Adam, is going to share his thoughts, so we're going to cover everything. But with that being said, let's start with the forehands. So the forehand being my better shot, I'm always asking myself, can I get the best out of my best shot with a racket? It's a really important litmus test for me. And you can see here that I'm not really having any issues swinging through with the forehand. I never really had any difficulty adjusting to the version 10 blade, to be honest, on the forehand side. But there were a couple of things I will note. This is not as forgiving as the 100 square inch E-zone I'm used to. So what I had to do to get the best out of this racket was focus really hard on getting it in that sweet spot. I found it easier if I actually had less of my loopy forehand swing and I actually flattened it out and hit through the ball a little bit more. Being conscious of that definitely helped me get a better feeling on the forehand side with this racket. If it doesn't seem too obvious now in these clips, it will when I play points at the end because I have some points footage I want to share with you guys. And in that video, you will notice it because I got more used to it. On the backhand side, now things are a little bit more interesting. This is my weaker side, right? So having a racket that isn't entirely forgiving makes things a little bit trickier. Like on the forehand, eventually I adjust. It's my better shot. I find the sweet spot on this racket. On the backhand, it's definitely harder for me to find that sweet spot. So I just think that this blade version 10 is a great racket, but I wouldn't recommend it to a beginner. Maybe even some intermediate players might not want this to be as forgiving as possible. I might honestly fall into that camp, although there are certain things that I did really like about the racket. On the backhand, always a little trickier for me. But again, that might just be a personal thing in terms of my ground strokes. Later, when Adam gives his thoughts, he says how much he loves it on the backhand. But where the racket excelled for me was volleys. Volleys, drop shots, touch around the net. This is where I really liked the version 10 blade. I actually thought on the volleys here, as Adam is pinging these balls at me, I didn't really miss most of my volleys. I mean, I was definitely shanking or framing a couple of them because, like I said, the sweet spot maybe isn't as large as I'm used to. But when I was finding that sweet spot, very stable, no issues at the net. In terms of touch and feel at the net as well, at the end, you'll see me play a lot of drop shots and slices on the points because that's where it felt great. But now I want to give you overall impressions of the racket from Adam's point of view as well. So let's hear from him.
The blade on ground strokes felt very solid, really stable, easy access to spin. I found it had maybe a slightly higher launch angle than the previous generation, but I found I had no trouble controlling the ball. The ball, when I swung big, it seemed to dip down really easily. On the two-handed backhand, I felt it to be very solid. I could take big swings without feeling like it was uncontrolled. And what I really particularly enjoyed about the frame playing with it was the touch around the net and the drop shots. It felt like I had a lot of control and feel, but it was super stable. So even on a fast ball, I could really take the speed out of it, get a lot of control. and move my opponent around the court really kind of easily and precisely without putting too much effort. So in comparison to the V9 blade, which I used to use, I definitely felt like there was that little bit more pop. I felt the stiffness on contact, absolutely. Now, it wasn't nothing that would cause any discomfort. Still had a lot of lovely feel, nice touch, but definitely easier access to power than the previous generation.
So some really helpful insights from Adam, because I want to give you guys a second opinion on reviews as well now moving forward. And also, I can't serve because of my shoulder injury. So let's hear from Adam on the serve.
I found the blade to be quite powerful on my first serve especially. I got a lot of free power, definitely felt the slightly stiffer feel and the slight increase in the beam width. Felt very stable on contact with free power. And then on the second serve, I felt I could really accelerate as the swing weight's not crazy high. We were playing with a racket that was about 324 grams swing weight, with really enabled me to accelerate through the ball, giving me lots of kick, and it was very accurate.
So there you go, some great insights from Adam on the serve. And now I want to talk you through how I felt actually playing some points out, because I got a little bit more used to this racket. And I think compared to the forehands and backhands I was hitting cross court at the beginning of the video, you'll see I'm hitting it a bit better now. I mean, I lost that point, but I think you will see compared to the earlier clips, just even getting used to the racket and adjusting my swings, much better, right? Like that backhand, flatten the shot out a little bit, put the weight through the ball, focus on getting the sweet spot way more, and then it paid off. So what does that mean? Well, if you're someone who's confident finding that sweet spot and you can do it time and time again, this racket's gonna reward you. If you're someone who wants something a bit easier to play with, you know, you want something 100 square inch, E-zone type, easier power, more forgiving, then that's totally fine. But this is just the adjustment I noticed I was making. And look at that forehand, probably the best forehand of the day that I hit. And it was when I flattened the stroke out ever so slightly and focused really hard on finding that sweet spot. So wouldn't recommend it for someone who's not a super confident player, but other than that, I think you can have a lot of fun with it. Now at this point I'm including just because it was fun, because I hit a great tweener lob. That's an inch perfect lob off a tweener. And then I lost my focus, didn't find the sweet spot, and racket does not give you any leeway there. So completely mucked that up, which is a bit embarrassing. But in some of these points footage, you've probably also seen me resort to hitting slices both off the forehand and backhand side, a drop shot here. Really good on this, really good. I don't have a technical explanation per se, but it did really feel good on the slices and the drop shots. So if that's another part of your game that's important to you, definitely something to consider. Now, the last thing I want to leave you guys with is instinctive, immediate thoughts that we had unedited after we played. I've actually included that. So I had a chat with Adam right after the hit, and I've included that in just about like the next 30 seconds here, so you can get an unfiltered, unscripted, unedited view of what we were thinking on the day itself, on top of all of this voiceover for the video. So I really hope you enjoy it. If you've enjoyed this video, let us know in the comments. If you want a full blade lineup spec comparison, V9 versus V10 in more detail, happy to make those videos. Just let us know what you want. Hey guys, so we're here with Adam, who is my stringer, but also one of the folks at Rackets.ie who's a bit of an expert on all things tennis gear. So what did you make of the Blade version 10?
I actually really enjoyed using it. I was previously a V9 user, and I definitely found this a little stiffer, definitely got more out of it. Wasn't as kind of soft and as control feeling as the predecessor. I think the slightly thicker beam, you really noticed that you could really go after the forehand. Well, actually I found on my backhand I could go after it a bit more.
Yeah.
And just felt really solid on connection, but still has that kind of Wilson feel where you really feel the ball.
Yeah.
And then I also think it looks gorgeous.
It does look good, doesn't it?
Yeah, you've got these textures on the inside of the frame. It's just a beautiful job, I gotta say.
So tell me what you thought about the power, because I heard some folks say that this is a tad bit more powerful than the old version. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. I think definitely. I think it just felt stiffer on contact.
Yeah.
I think the old one you definitely felt you lost a little bit, but then you kind of gained a bit of control. Maybe.
Okay.
I didn't feel like I lost any control really.
Yeah.
Just had a stiffer feel than the predecessor.
And would you tell people to upgrade then? What would your takeaway be?
Yeah, if you're looking for a bit more pop,
Yeah.
and still that same kind of control blade feel, yeah, give it a go. It's super racket.
Yeah, and this is a 98, I think, right?
This is the 98 1619, so
Yeah.
more controlled head size. The string pattern is denser than the 100 1619, so you get a bit more control. But if you're looking for even more control again, I'd recommend maybe the 98 1820,
Okay.
which will just give you a stiffer kind of string feel because it's
Okay.
a denser string bed. And yeah,
All good. So, in terms of a game style, whose game style would this version 10 Blade 98 suit, do you think?
I think this suits a intermediate to advanced player who's looking for a little bit more control without losing power.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's too suitable for beginner, just because, especially in the 98, the sweet spot's a little harder to find.
It's not too forgiving.
It's definitely not
Yeah.
too forgiving. There's definitely a few shanks in our hit there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think as well, if you strung it maybe with a slightly softer string setup, like if you were to string it with a multi-filament or a blend of a poly and a multi, you definitely open the sweet spot up and make it a bit more accessible to other players.
Okay.
But yeah, full big banger I think is definitely for the more advanced player.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thanks for your thoughts and thanks for the review.
You're very welcome.
Perfect.
If you're still here and you've watched the majority of this video, thank you so much, guys. It means the world to me. I'm doing my absolute best to get these reviews out for you and early, so please like, comment, subscribe. And if you want any other kind of reviews or comparisons, let me know and I will make it happen with Rackets.ie. So thank you so much and see you soon.